You're watching The Press Row. I'm Mike Sherman here with the Oklahoman columnist Barry Trammell, John Rohde, and Jenny Carlson. And we're talking about the trade that made and remade two franchises. I speak of that deal on 2007 NBA Draft Night that sent Ray Allen from Seattle to Boston and ultimately landed Jeff Green here in Oklahoma City. Guys, it's worth reviewing this trade now because the Celtics are in Oklahoma City Friday night to face the Thunder and because of the roles Allen and Green play on these respective teams. My question to start, Barry, is that Sam Presti's best trade?
Well,
or best deal?
Well, I would say probably so. The Sefolosha deal was just highway. That was highway robbery. Getting Sefolosha for a late first-round draft pick last year, and we see what kind of ball player Talbot is. But the Green and Allen trade is fantastic for this reason. It was great for both teams. Rarely do you have a trade where you go back a year, 2, 3 later and ask both teams, if you could do it over again, would you do it? And both say, yeah, we thought it was great. Boston got Ray Allen, got an NBA title out of getting him and Kevin Garnett together with Paul Pierce. But the Thunder solidified their future to give Kevin Durant a sidekick. And Jeff Green's potential still pretty high. We still don't know what kind of ball player he's going to be. We do know what kind of ball player he is, which is pretty dang good.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Sefolosha trade's the only other one that you would even consider being in the same ballpark. But the thing about this trade between the Celtics and the now Thunder is that it really started the rebuilding process, I think, in earnest. I mean, this was a franchise that I'm pretty sure Sam Presti was intent upon rebuilding, but this was the thing that sort of was the trigger pull. You know, when you get this deal done and you don't have Ray Allen and sort of, you know, building around a veteran and building around his salary, and you're moving ahead towards just sort of wiping the slate clean and starting over. I think this was really the trigger of that.
Yeah, Tabo is definitely a leader. The next one is probably Kirstich. That's a little more hot and cold. I thought that was kind of a steal there. And maybe the other best trade would be Scott Brooks for P.J. Carlesimo. But I still don't blame P.J. for that start.
You know, you look at this trade, though, guys. Ray Allen, 6 or 7-time All-Star, guy who helped shoot the Celtics into the NBA championship and win it. He's the guy that basically helped keep Paul Pierce, helped bring Kevin Garnett. I mean, star maker. Is it even worth thinking about what Oklahoma City would be like right now with Ray Allen?
Well, you can think about it. They would not have as bright a future, and they would have won more games the last 2 years. Probably wouldn't win any more games this year. Ray Allen would take shots away from Kevin Durant. I would say that's not necessarily a great thing. They would be a lot better on offense, not as good on defense. That's generally not a recipe for success in the NBA. So, I mean, I think it was a short-term hurting the Sonics, but for the long-term gain.
Yeah, and I think if they had him right now, wouldn't they be looking to trade him so they could sign Kevin Durant to that long-term deal that's coming up? I think obviously Barry's right. In the short term, the games, you would have seen Ray Allen be able to hit some shots that maybe other guys didn't make. Obviously, last year we saw a great need for outside shooting with that team. He would have been an easy fix there. But clearly, for this team to move ahead with the youth that they have and this nucleus that they've built, you know, a veteran like Ray Allen, you've got to eventually shed that salary, and so they would have had to do it at some point.
Well, if Ray Allen were still here, he'd be doing two things. He'd not be happy, and he would not be playing defense. To me, I don't think it was very difficult to get rid of Ray Allen at all. He would have been the kingpin if he were still with the team now, instead of just a piece to a magical puzzle. They'd be paying $18.5 million for him. Ray Allen was about Seattle, guys. He wasn't about the Oklahoma City Thunder. He was revered in Seattle. That's where he wanted to leave, and he didn't want to leave there.
But let's look at Jeff Green, the player right now. The Thunder, here they stand 9-8 after the month of November, going into a tough December. My question is Jeff Green a barometer of the Thunder's success? Can you look at him and say how he's playing is going to dictate whether they win or lose?
Well, you can't. I don't think he's as good of a barometer as, say, Westbrook or Durant. I think Green is tends to be more stable than those guys. The things he does tend to not go into slumps. I don't think he's ever going to be a star. I don't think he's a star now. I don't think he's ever going to be, but I think he's a very good player and going to be for a long time. One of those solid guys in some ways a Ginobili type, different kind of player, but in somebody you just count on every night that San Antonio does, and I think Oklahoma City's thinking the same thing about Green.
Absolutely. I think he does a little bit of everything. Offense, defense, shoots it from outside, gets inside. I mean, he's the kind of player every team wants. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can really say he is the greatest barometer, but I've seen improvement out of him this year. I think he's a better player now than he was a year ago, much like Kevin Durant, much like Russell Westbrook. But I just think he's a guy that, he may not be a glue guy, a true glue guy, but he does sort of fit that mold.
Well, I hope he's not the barometer because nobody ever talks about him. They either go, I hope Durant's shooting it well. I hope Westbrook's taking care of the ball. I hope Thabo shuts down his guy. I hope Kirstich and Eton Thomas control what's underneath. And then there's Green. And Barry's right. He's a terrific player, but he's not a superstar, never will be seen as such.
Here's what I love about Green. When you think about the most athletic guy on the team, you think about Westbrook. You think about Durant being 6'9" and doing all the things he can do. The most athletic guy on that team is Jeff Green in terms of basketball ability. The other night against Houston, he had 2 left-handed dunks, one on a rebound, tip-in dunk, and the other was on a drive, left hand, and they just come out of nowhere. You think, this guy can unleash it pretty quickly. He's an unbelievable athlete, but he reins it in. He doesn't go crazy with it. He uses it when he has to. He's a marvelous player.
Statistical support for the theory that Jeff Green is a barometer: 16 points a game in their wins, 12 points a game in their losses. Worth considering on another Press Row. That's all for this one. You can stay with the best coverage team anywhere, every day, News OK, and every morning in the Oklahoman.